The Year of the Rat by Grace Lynn. Illustrated by Kulon. It's the Chinese Year of the Rat, which is believed to bring change and new beginnings, and Pacey has had more than her fair share of change. Her best friend, Melody, has moved to California, and her friendship with Becky and Charlotte has become strained. The new boy in school, Dunway, and his family have moved into Melody's old house, making Dunway the enemy. To make matters worse, Pacey wants to be an author and illustrator when she grows up, but her father thinks that profession is a cold door, a difficult job that could lead to a hard life. Born in the Year of the Tiger, Pacey doesn't feel the luck that tigers are believed to have. Now, as the year comes to a close, Pacey thinks about the resolutions she made at the beginning of the year. Resolutions. Resolutions are promises to do or not do something. The weather seemed to turn cold in a snap. Even though we thought we were ready, everyone was surprised when snow fell from the sky as if someone were pouring down sugar. "Lots of snow today," Dad said in the morning. "You lucky kids. The radio said that there's no school. It's so cold outside that it's breaking records. I wish I could have a snow day. I'm going to turn into a snowman going to work today." No school. It was like a surprise vacation. I was all ready to go outside and play until I opened the door. Brrr! The cold wind bit my face, and the inside of my nose stung as if icicles suddenly formed there. I closed the door. "It's so cold out there," I said, shivering. "It froze my nose." Dad laughed and said, "I warned you. That's what you get when you open a cold door." All of a sudden, Dad saying that reminded me about the other cold door, the cold door of becoming an author and illustrator. Even though I didn't have any doubts about my talent anymore, I still didn't like that door. But for almost 2 years, I had thought that being an author and illustrator was what I wanted to be and who I was going to become. Now, I just didn't know. Was being an author and illustrator just a wishful dream? Or was it something I could make happen? Was it even something I should try to make happen? Doubts. If you have doubts, you aren't sure about something. Remember at Chinese New Year when we wrote resolutions? I asked Dad. Remember how you told me some things you made happen and other things you just wished? Dad nodded. Well, how do you know which is which? I asked. And how do you know which are the things you should try for? Well, this is a hard question for so early in the morning, Dad said. I guess it's different for every person. You have to know yourself, what you can do. Can't someone just tell me? I said. It's too hard to figure it out. No, no one can tell you, Dad said. Only you can decide, because only you know who you are. You know who I am, I said, and Mom too. You're my parents. We are your parents, Dad said, but that doesn't mean we truly know you. It's like that little story, Knowing the Fish. One day, 2 philosophers were walking outdoors. As they crossed a bridge, they stopped and saw an orange fish glide through the muddy green water, like floating tangerine peels. In the sunlight, the fish sparkled like fireflies. "The fish are happy today," one philosopher said to the other. "How do you know?" the other philosopher replied. "You're not a fish." The friends continued walking. Their footsteps crunched the carpet of golden leaves as they passed, and each was quiet. The first philosopher was deep in thought, considering their conversation. Finally, he said to the other, "How do you know that I don't know that the fish are happy?" The first philosopher said. "You are not me." So you see, Dad said, only you really know yourself, and only you can really make your decisions. And I guessed Dad was right. It was up to me. All the things I didn't like, being scared of the cold door, feeling ashamed about Dunway and being Chinese, getting bad grades, feeling weird with Becky and Charlotte, even trying to get Sam Mercer to notice me. I was the one who had to change those things. And knowing that was a little scary. "Why do you look so frightened all of a sudden?" Dad asked. "I didn't realize I'd have to decide and do things," I said. "I liked it better when you and Mom did everything." "Ah, you're growing up," Dad said. "Don't worry, it's not that bad. Do you remember how I told you the story about the 12 animals of Chinese New Year? The tiger came in third place, without a raft or friends helping him. He looked at the wild and fierce waters and went in, relying on just himself, his courage and strength to get across. You were born in the year of the tiger, so you're brave. You can face anything." Dad's words warmed me, as if I had put on a fur coat. I could be brave. I didn't need tiger luck. I was a tiger. I could almost feel the tiger stripes on my back. Relying. When you are relying on someone, you are trusting or depending on that person. I wouldn't let the changes of the year of the rat sink me. That night, Melody was so excited when she called me, I could barely understand what she was saying. "Guess what?" she said. "Guess what? I'm coming back to New Hartford to visit." I couldn't believe it, but it was true. Melody was going to come back to visit. Her parents were selling the house to Dunway's family, and Melody's mom had to come back and take care of some paperwork and details. Melody's mom asked if she could stay with us while she was here, and she was going to bring Melody because we know you two would never forgive us if I came alone. But they weren't coming until around Chinese New Year. That seemed so far away. But luckily, the winter days were blowing by. In school, we were doing open projects again about endangered animals. And this time, I was making a book. "Are you sure you don't want to be a third partner?" Becky asked out on the playground at recess. We were watching the boys play football in the snow. The boys liked to play football in the snow because then they could dive on the ground without getting hurt. We liked to watch because it was funny to see them covered in snow, especially Sam Mercer, who rolled around so much that he looked like a gingerbread cookie with white icing. "You'll have to do all that work on panda bears by yourself," Becky added. "That's okay," I said. "If I want to be an author and illustrator, I better practice as much as I can." "What if you don't become an author and illustrator?" Charlotte asked. "Then you would have done all that practicing for nothing." "It won't be for nothing," I said, trying to feel as brave as a tiger. "I know I'm going to be one, no matter what." And after I said that, I did feel like a brave tiger. What did I care about cold doors when I had fur that was thick and warm? Just like the tiger that jumped into the wild water because he wanted to win the race, I was going to jump through the door and become an author and illustrator. I wouldn't be afraid anymore. "So when is Melody coming back?" Charlotte asked. I had told them all about her phone call that morning. "In a couple of months," I said, smiling. "Just in time for Chinese New Year." "Well, Maybe it's good you're doing the project by yourself then, Becky said in a funny voice. We won't see you at all once Melody arrives. I stopped smiling. Suddenly, I understood why everything felt clumsy and awkward when I was with Charlotte and Becky. When Melody had moved here 2 years ago, we had become best friends, and I had stopped being such good friends with Becky and Charlotte. Not only had I ignored them and probably hurt their feelings, all the things that I had been interested in and cared about were different now. Clumsy. If an action is clumsy, it happens in a careless way. Awkward. In an awkward situation, things feel tense and uncomfortable. They hadn't changed. I had changed. Wow! Look at that throw, Charlotte said as a ball whizzed through the air. Who threw that? It was Dumb Way, Becky said. Can you believe it? I guess Dumb Way is a pretty good football player. I took a deep breath and gathered my tiger strength. If I was ever going to make things better with Becky and Charlotte, I'd have to let them know how I had changed. I had to let them know that the things that wouldn't have bothered me before bothered me now. I don't think it's nice to call him Dumb Way, I said. His name is Dunway. But everyone calls him that, Becky said. I swallowed hard and looked at my feet. I don't, I said, because I think it's kind of mean. When I peeked up, I saw Becky looking at me with her head cocked like a surprised pigeon. Slowly she nodded. You're right, she said. It is mean. I won't do it anymore. Thanks, I said. And it was as if the ice in my stomach had suddenly melted away. You know what? When Melody comes, you two should come over. I bet my mom would let me have a sleepover. Yeah, that'd be fun, Charlotte said, and they smiled at me. I smiled back. Everything would be all right. Deep inside of me, I heard a tiger roar. It was so loud and strong I was surprised. I never knew it was there before.